Just found out that my wife is pregnant like a month ago. I'm in the Navy. I make 4,200 a month. Turned to me before bed and told me that she didn't feel satisfied at work anymore, and that it was causing her too much stress.
We have a possibly enlisted member of the U.S. Navy calling into the Dave Ramsey Show, which, to give like the one-liner, two-liners here, it is essentially people call about financial advice, whatever troubles they have, and Dave Ramsey tries to give them advice back. If you watch the show, great show overall. I don't agree with every principle that he preaches or that he abides by, essentially, but I will say there are certain fundamentals of addition, subtraction that don't add up, and sometimes people need a little tough love. And I'm trying to show these videos as pitfalls and things to make people that are maybe in or about to be in or have already just been through it to see that this is still a ongoing tradition of dependents being dependents. But check this out as the caller kind of details all this out.
Alex is in Norfolk, Virginia. Hi, Alex. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm doing good. How about you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So last night, my wife turned to me before bed and told me that she didn't feel satisfied at work anymore, and that it was causing her too much stress, and it just wasn't what she expected when she joined the job. She works as a social worker while she's waiting to save up to go into her master's so she can become a clinical psychologist. She moved here about 3 years ago when we came here to Virginia, and she's had plenty of jobs since then, but they've never lasted longer than about 6 months before she would either find a better job or maybe they had a disagreement at work, or she couldn't take the job anymore. And we're in the middle of paying off the student loans from her psychology degree. And we just found out that my wife is pregnant like a month ago. So
congratulations.
It's all kind of hitting me all. Thank you. It's all kind of hitting me all at once. I'm very excited about the baby, but I was very collected when she told me about it. She was surprised, and I told her it's because we're financially stable. We're on a plan. I don't have to worry about knowing if we're going to be able to afford the baby or not, because I know that we can. But if she's planning on moving to a different job, that it shakes my structure, I guess. Like it shakes my rock. I know that we can get by on my income, but
what do you make?
Get by with a baby. I'm in the Navy. I make I make $4,200 a month.
Ladies and gents, you hear that, $4,200 a month in Norfolk, Virginia, which I'm looking at some of these tables here where like even as like an E3, say he's been in for a little bit, that's $2,000 with dependents for housing allowance there. And then maybe if he's still E3, we're going to look at maybe pay of around $3,198. So maybe with taxes after that, this might kind of make sense here that this is kind of what he's bringing in. But this is one pitfall I'm going to tell a lot of people is, yes, the military has a great stability if you're getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, but your wife still probably is going to have to work, especially if you're enlisted, especially because it's much harder to make ends meet. Now, let's hear this because essentially you can tell in this call, this sailor is having the pressure on their shoulders of like, holy shit, we're a month into this pregnancy thing. She can't hold down a job for longer than 6 months, which, by the way, she might be the common denominator in this thing. And he's going to have to figure out how to pick up the slack. And with advancement, how things are going, who knows? And even still, it will not make up for her pay most likely because it's only usually a couple $100 extra when you do make rank.
Okay.
But
$50,000 a year. What does she make?
She makes $23,000 a month.
Okay. $30,000 a year. Okay.
Yep. And we put $3,000 towards her debt every month.
How much student loan debt is there?
57. That's what it was last month.
57,000?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is that y'all's only debt, Alex?
Yes. We thought it was a lot less than that until she graduated, and we looked at the numbers, and it was twice that.
So before we move forward, I know I'm making a lot of pauses. This is the issue. There are a lot of military people that look at housing allowance, look at these things, and mind you, probably didn't have a bad nugget here dating a girl that actually finished college and then married her, but the fact that she can't hold down a job and is not even bringing close to what he's making, which, by the way, military enlisted don't make that much. I'm like, how are you bringing in such little with a degree? Are you only working part-time? I don't know. That's kind of crazy here. And by the way, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're married and you're paying all this and it's joint everything going towards it, good luck. Because guess what? If they get a divorce, you're now going to probably be held some kind of liability towards that debt as well. I'm going to bet my bottom dollar because they're going to try and reap every benefit they can out of this by saying like, look, he upkept my type of quality of life here and here I am. And we're already having strain here at baby number 1, not including operational tempo and things that are going on that could make people have stressors as well.
Twice of what you thought.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think, not to like psychoanalyze her, but what's with the job changes that are pretty consistent with her? What do you think the thing is about that?
So the reoccurring thing is she doesn't find meaning in her work. When she works somewhere that she finds meaning at, then she never complains about it. And she hasn't complained about this job she's been there 6 months now. She hasn't complained about it until the last 2 months. She started mentioning that she was tired of training. She's been training on the computer ever since she got to the job. And every time they give her opportunity to come forth and like do something that actually deals with social work, she like trips or fumbles or doesn't get something right. And then somebody gets upset with her. She's got some rude coworkers. And then I think she just can't handle it. And she brought up that a lady called her that was supposed to have called her a month ago so that they could fix something, but then they couldn't fix it because she didn't call when she was supposed to, and she got cussed out over the phone. And she wanted the job so she could help people, and she doesn't feel like she's helping people. She feels like people are getting angry at her for trying to help.
I hate to say it, but this sounds like her first kind of big girl job and having to suck it up a little bit in regards to like people might be a little abrasive. You have to learn to deal with people. That's part of it. And I'm sorry, did somebody just tell every kid that went to college, you're going to do meaningful work every day. You're going to wake up and it's going to be awesome. I feel for her husband at this moment because I can tell he's stressed out. That's why he's calling. But I'm sitting here where I'm like, bro, I know this guy is not going every day to the shipyard being like, I have meaningful work and I'm chipping paint and I'm doing maintenance and I'm doing all these things that are required of me by the U.S. Navy and I live by honor, courage, commitment, and hoo-yah. And oh my gosh, I sing Anchors Away in the shower and I look up and I look at the stars and I say the Sailor's Creed. That is not the case. And I'm sure he's like, dude, what did I marry? Why did I pick this one? The one that can't hold a job, that has $57,000 worth of debt, and obviously does not want to work. But they ask more crucial questions.
What can we do to help?
I want to know. I want her to be happy in her work. I love listening to the Ken Coleman show, and I believe in like working at something that you feel passionate about, and I want her to feel passionate about what she does, but I'm scared because so much is going on right now and she wants to make this choice. Mm-hmm. I want to back her in whatever she wants, but I want to make sure that we're doing the right thing.
Yeah. Okay. There's two reasons that we work. One is to self-actualize and have purpose and meaning in our work and do work that matters. And that certainly needs to be the long-term goal. All right. The second reason we work is we're grown-ups and we have to feed our family. And you suck it up and put a callus on your hand and you do the work. That's the two reasons you work. Now, here's the point. What Ken Coleman is telling people and what we tell people here and have for 30 years is you don't suck it up for 38 years. You suck it up for 38 months. But she has never once sucked it up. She has never once stiffened her backbone and walked through a tough time. Every time the wind blows, she goes out the door. That's who you've described to us for the past few minutes.
I agree with Dave on this one. Exactly. She has essentially said, if anything doesn't go my way, I'm not going to do it. And unfortunately, I'm going to tell you, this is a huge red flag for anybody in the military, because I look at this as being able to manage finances, manage a household, manage emotions, whatever. Like, if this guy goes on deployment and has to give everything over to this spouse that he has to handle with a child, by the way, and say, you're going to have to figure out everything, and there's going to be days that suck, and she's like, I don't know if I can do that. That's too tough. You have a fucking human being that you're trusting this person to hold down the fort while you're out here having to be operationally ready, and he can't even focus on that because his wife is probably over here not even able to hold her own, which she can't, by the way. Oh my gosh. And we have to go back real quick. Rachel Cruze, the daughter of Dave Ramsey on this show, when he's like, I just want her to be happy. Play this clip.
Like working at something that you feel passionate about, and I want her to feel passionate about what she does.
Do you see her face? She's like, I want her to be happy, but oh my, there's a little bit of disconnect going on here.
And so she has a baby on the way and $57,000 in debt. This is when you suck it up. If somebody's mean to you, oh well, welcome to the world. Deal with it. Suck it up.
She has some problems with anxiety.
And she wants to be a psychologist?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We're going to have to do something. She's going to have to, at 23 years old, she's going to have to develop some toughness to be able to be a mommy and to be a grown-up. And I'm not saying anxiety's not real, and I'm not saying just pretend like you're not anxious. That's not the point. If she needs to see a counselor, fine, let's see a counselor. But this idea that every time it gets rough at work, we quit, you're never going to keep a job in your whole life. I own this place, and some days I hate it. And I can do anything I want to do, but I do it anyway.
And Alex, I think the hard thing, what you're going to have to discover is you can't control her. As much as you want it for her, she has to want it herself. And her own journey of understanding herself and why she is the way she is, why we all are, right? We all have to get to that point where we're like, okay, what has caused me to have these patterns in my life? The wake-up call has to come from her. It can't come from you wanting her to have it. And that's going to be a tough position that you're in, Alex. You're calling the show for...
That's right. She has to want it herself. But I see this so many times where dependents often are like, I just want to be a stay-at-home mom. I want to just be there for my kids. They could be in school age. They could be whatever. And even though there's opportune times to go work, make their financial situations better, I'm going to tell you, there is a reason why stereotypes are stereotypes. There is a little bit of truth to some of them, right? I'm not going to paint every single one, but I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say like, hey, like, what's going to happen with this person? On top of that, this person is supposed to be in the forefront of their mind. They're going to be a therapist to tell others that they have to endure tough times, move forward. How the fuck are they going to do that if they can't even endure a little bit of tough times themselves? I'm just sitting here like, what? And then on top of that, like, life experience is necessary to go be a therapist, like, to some degree. I don't think people should go in the profession without having any kind of endurance. And obviously being a military spouse and a stay-at-home mom maybe at some point might be it. But I'm going to call it right now. This spouse is going to try and stay home right after this baby's there. They don't want to go back to work, I'm telling you, because they are not willing to work even harder. And I'm also going to say, like, they're looking to quit at month number 1 of 9 of having a kid. I would be like, wee. There should be some kind of fucking siren going on of like, we're going to hold off paying $57,000 worth of my bachelor's degree here and only do bare minimum to make sure we have a nest egg. But she is just like, la-di-da, because the husband's just going to do whatever. He is bending over fucking backwards. And I give kudos. He's being a good guy. He's trying to be a good person, do the right thing. But the fact she's not calling into the show is giving me a lot more alarms and red flags than I'd ever like to see. And it's unfortunate.
For her, right?
Let me ask you something. Has she got brothers or sisters?
No, she's an only child.
I thought so. Okay. And so she's her daddy's little princess, isn't she?
No, she had dad problems.
Oh, okay.
So he left the picture halfway through.
Okay. All right. Because this it sounds like that.
It's a lot of hurt. She has a lot. She's functioning out of a lot.
She's dealing with a lot of hurt.
And a lot of her, when she feels rejection, she bounces, Alex, probably from what you just told us in the last 30 seconds from her story. I mean, there's a lot of her stories she has to become aware of for her to heal and become a whole person and not to bounce. So part of me is like, I understand why she's doing it, but it doesn't make it okay. And so it puts you in a tough position. And so you're going to have to sit down and you guys have to lay out these numbers and just say, hey, for the next 9 months, because when you have a baby, depending on what you want to do, like we have to be in this. We have to figure out a way to pay down this debt so that we're not drowning financially. And you need to be, and I want you as your husband. I'm seeing this pain.
Long term, I want you to be.
Yes.
I want her to be. Long term, I want her to be in something she loves and where she's helping people and where she's not having to deal with toxic coworkers. I don't blame her for that. Long term, I want her to be there. But short term, we got to be a grown up. We got a baby to feed. We got debt to pay off, and we probably do need to get to the bottom of, from a psychological standpoint, why we're studying psychology, and get into this.
Overall, I agree with Dave, but I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think this is going to happen where they're like, she's got to be part of it and she's, going to be a member of this team. I'm like, no, this is what happens. A lot of marriages in the military, they're built on weak foundations, and I can tell you from experience, it's what happens. They're rushed. They don't go through the proper cycles they're supposed to, and this is what you get. You get the, whoopsie, who did I marry? Whoopsie, who did I procreate with? Whoopsie, what am I in now where I'm losing my retirement to this woman and paying child support, and now I'm living in an even worse situation for her to go gallivant and do something else with another guy where I am sitting here probably even making less and maybe living in a barracks room, for Christ's sake. But the comments do not disappoint. For example, the first one is from this guy, Warren, where he says, I've been working since I was 15. I'm 36 now, and I haven't found meaning in my work in my entire life. I recognize it for what it is. It's a means to provide. Find meaning somewhere else. I agree with that. I mean, not every day is meaningful. I find little glimmers of hope of like, oh man, that was actually a good interaction, or that was a good outcome. I actually feel good about that. But not every day. There is something every day in every job you don't want to do. And that is unfortunate. And that's why people are like, do what you love. I'm like, I mean, there is a degree of, yes, there is that, but like, there's a degree of the other side of the coin that you're not going to do everything you love. Even Dave said it. He owns a fucking business and there's things he hates doing. And he could choose to do it or not, but he's like, under the reality, this is what I've accepted. This is what I bought into. And especially if this person's going to have a kid. Tumagan or here says, she feels like people are angry with her for trying to help. And this person says, welcome to social work. Yes, social work is about connecting people that are in very unfortunate situations that are not good socioeconomic status, that want money, they want good services, whatever, and they just want it here and now. And unfortunately, you having this, I want to help people as a social worker doesn't really go very far. I've always said this, if you're a cop, if you work in medical, like emergency medicine, like an ER room, if you work in social work, you work in any of these like kinds of things where you deal with facets of society that not many people have to experience, such as homelessness or whatever. It is something that is a thankless job that people every day do not have to deal with that part of society. And that's the truth. And that's why she's like, oh, I got to learn to figure this out. Now, there are other ways to go to social work and go up. And that's probably why she's trying to be a therapist, because she's like, it's going to make maybe more money. And I'm going to deal with people that want to be here and want to talk to me. But again, who knows? And lastly, this person, Philip, says she has a history of getting fired and quitting jobs. She can't handle her jobs and gets easily frustrated. She has trouble getting along with people at her jobs. These are not qualities of a good therapist. I mean, you have to be a little self-aware and emotional intelligence if you want to do this. And I hope that the husband in this situation gets a little emotional intelligence as well, because honestly, he's calling into this show and fuck, man, I feel like he needs to direct this at her. Hold the fucking fire to her feet and say, you are going to help out this household until you deliver, or 8 months. And then that last month you get to chill out. That's what I would say. You have to. But unfortunately, she's playing the card. She's playing every card, and we're going to see it. I have predictions this is not going to go well. And I don't say that out of like wishing that on the sailor, but I say that out of like, I've seen enough of these situations where I'm like, we are in a bad spot on the first couple steps. You can recover. It's just going to be rocky. But what have you seen in your career or military experience where you saw something like this? Tell me your crazy stories down below. But as always, if you guys like this video, you might like that one up there where the YouTube algorithm is saying that one's probably even better than this one. Check that one out. And as always, I love you guys. I'll see you next time.